Okay, yeah. So welcome to the final Borneo Mammal Club series for this session. Of course, there'll be maybe one or two more series coming up this year. So yeah, thanks again, everybody joining for the previous talks on the mammals of Toraja, the bats, the dolphin project, and which other project? Danam Valley. I've already uploaded them on YouTube, and I'll post them in the Borneo Mammal Club Facebook group soon, so you guys can share from there or take the links. But if you actually just put the title of your talks and with the speaker, it should just pop up on YouTube. So yeah, without further ado, just want to say today we'll be talking about Tawau, mammals of Tawau. Tawau, which is maybe the third biggest city in Sabah, east coast of Sabah. Not many people know about Tawau actually, so this will be a good introduction, I guess. And we will not be just talking about the national park we are based in and the surrounding areas as well. So it's not just not just the primary rainforest. So there are other places you can go around Tawau as well. So okay, I will let Chun start sharing the screen and kickstart, and we both will be co-talking today, if that's the word.
All right. Looks good. Can everyone see the screen?
Yes.
Okay. So good evening, everyone. Good evening from Tawau. So today we're pleased to share with you mammals of a place where we are based in. So Chavez and I think most of you already know we run an organization called One Stop Borneo Wildlife. So this is where our main base is in Tawau. So if you're wondering, those of you especially have not been to Tawau, here, so on Borneo, so in Borneo, this is the map. Do you see the red arrow pointing there? That is Tawau. So to many people, they say that the island of Borneo looks like an animal. Some say it looks like a dog. Some say it looks like a horse. So if the island Borneo looks like an animal, then Tawau is at the chin of the animal, just below the mouth. And so these are here you can see 5 places listed out. So these are the areas which we have surveyed around Tawau, which we think are the best spots in Tawau for mammal watching. So around these areas, we have recorded at least 105 species of mammals. But I think with more research, there are definitely more to come. So a closer look at Tawau. So let me open up annotate first. All right. So Tawau Hills Park here. Yeah, this is the main hotspot for mammals. But of course, the other areas, Hot Spring, Andrasi, are all also within the vicinity of the national park. That's why the diversity of mammals is high. And then Luasong is isolated forest quite far away. As it is isolated, there are some good mammals trapped in there as well.
Over there in Luasong, we do the night drives.
All right. Okay. And so these are the areas where we see the land mammals, while the sea around Tawau, that's where we see the dolphins. And Tawau is a great place because you can see the biggest and smallest species of land mammals on Borneo. So both of the biggest and smallest land mammal species on Borneo can be found in Tawau. So the biggest, if I think you must have guessed already, is the Borneo elephants. They are the biggest land mammal in Borneo, but they are the smallest elephants in the world. That's why they're sometimes referred to Borneo pygmy elephants. So we have a project here in Tawau called the Plant for Borneo Elephants project. So in fact, if you have noticed, many of the um, there are many elephant casualties in the news sadly around Tawau region. And many of these elephant deaths, they die because of being intentionally killed or being poisoned in plantations. Yeah, many people do not know that there's a there's a big population of elephants living in plantations, and oil palm plantations especially, where unfortunately they are regarded as pests. They're regarded as pests to many of these plantations because they cause a lot of destruction to the infrastructure, to the fence, to the young crops, and occasionally may injure some of the workers. And that's why we introduced this project called the Plant for Borneo Elephants, where we try to collaborate with these plantations where they have resident elephants. We work with them to try to change the mindset. While many of the plantations sees elephant as a pest, we try to show them the beauty of elephants, the real value. So it's so we bring in we for many of these plantations they see them as a liability, all economic loss. But we show them how can it be done, how can it be beneficial to them. So we bring in paying visitors to do a safari in the plantation to see the elephants there. And visitors are, in fact, there are many of the visitors enjoyed it, even though there's a bad reputation of plantation. Many of the visitors they enjoy it. They're more aware about plantations and about the elephants there. And and on the other hand, the plantations they also realize that the elephants are really important because they can't imagine that there are so many visitors willing to come in and look at the elephants. So this way, the plantations they respect the elephants more and treat them better. They will not try to harm the elephants or chase them away. Because in one way, it benefits the plantation economically because we hire plantation staff as drivers, as guides, and to provide other services like food, accommodation. So it's a so so before this, many of these plantations they have lots of financial loss from the damages from elephants. But through our project, from the money gained from visitors, we managed to compensate the losses, and they can even benefit more. So this way, they do really respect elephants more in the plantation, and this is one way to reduce the elephant plantation conflict. Yeah, it's just in fact plantations are really one of the best place to see elephants because even though the background doesn't look nice with monoculture, but it's with enough sunlight and it's quite open. And elephants, in fact, elephants, many of them, they are able to find enough food in plantations. And yeah, because many of these elephants, they do feed on grasses, especially grasses and young crops. So in plantations, they can find lots of food to sustain the population. And the smallest mammal on Borneo, which is also one of the smallest species in the world, is the Hoses pygmy shrew. So yeah, one of the photo here you can see next to a ruler. That's how small it is. It is unfortunate. This one died. We found it drowned in the water after strong storm. We did a night walk after a heavy rain and found this drowned in the water. So you can say it's just it's from the snout to the tail is only around 8 centimeter. That's how small it is. And next I'll be passing to my partner Chavez to share about the primates in Tawau.
Yes, Didi, that's an adult. True. Chun, I'll need your help whenever I to change the slides. So the primates of Tawau, we have a good diversity. We have Sabah grey leaf langur. We'll show you a photo. It's very similar to the Hoses langur, which is quite more common in Brunei or in Sarawak, a bit of Kalimantan, and west coast of Sabah. Yeah, but the Sabah grey leaf langur is more confined to the east coast of Sabah. We have the red leaf langur monkey, red leaf monkey, I like to call it. Red leaf monkeys are found everywhere in Sarawak, Brunei, Kalimantan, Sabah, but they're different races. In Tawau, we do have the white red leaf monkey, which is not an albino, I think, it's just a white morph and more common. So this is the red leaf monkey. If you go back at the first picture, yes, this is quite habituated actually at the park, to be honest with you guys. You know, in other places where I've seen red leaf monkeys, from Brunei and Marimbun to Toraja, in Temburong, in Sarawak, in other parts of Borneo, the only places where I found them habituated, meaning to say, I mean, I'm like 5 meters away from this red leaf monkey. He doesn't care about me. I think only Danam Valley and Tawau are the places. And yeah, I can wake up, too much information for some. I can just wake up in the morning. I can be just in my boxes, shorts, and having coffee, and they might be in front of me, and they don't care. That's how fun they are, and they're a very jolly group of animals. Yeah, they quite, yeah, they're fun. They're fun to watch. To tell you the truth, I actually don't enjoy watching orangutans. I like watching red leaf monkeys. They're fun. They like to eat leaves a lot, you know, different kinds of leaf from different species. We've seen them. They love eating simpor. Yeah, the leaf and the fruit as well. Simpor is the national flower of Brunei, and it's the yellow one. Yeah, we should have actually put the picture in, but you can just Google it. Simpor, Simpur, and they like to eat ficus tree leaves as well. So yeah, red leaf monkey is one of my favorite. Diurnal. In the Mammals of Danam Valley talk, I think you saw a picture of the clouded leopard eating a red leaf monkey too. So yeah, clouded leopards love them, and yeah, I love red leaf monkeys. Next picture is the white morph. So the white morph is also quite common, you can say, in the park. I would see them once a week maybe, but if I really went out looking for them, I'm sure I could see them more often. But they're a bit shyer, even though they might be part of the habituated group, but they are a bit more wary. Yeah, so this one was quite, I was quite happy to find it. And yeah, there are many theories on why there are more white red leaf langurs in Tawau and then other places. Quinton's book says maybe it's because the lack of orangutans and so on. I mean, there are orangutans here, but they're not as abundant like in Danam Valley. Actually, we don't know. And it's not because, I don't think it's because of genetics as well. For example, in Kinabatangan, they're more reddish white silver leaf langurs, and that could be because of the genetics, meaning to say inbreeding and so on. In Tawau, I don't think that's the case. Next. Sabah gray leaf langur. Look at this beautiful animal. I love it, you know. And but the problem is these are very shy. Yeah, I've seen the hoses langur in Brunei. They're pretty shy too. But the Sabah ones are very shy. I've only seen them in drama court in Tawau. But yeah, we can very difficult to get a photo of them. So yeah, my friend Michael Gordon got one once. Proboscis monkeys, we have them in Tawau as well, and we found a big population of them actually in the mangroves near our dolphin project site. So yeah, we have lots of proboscis monkeys here, and quite wary of humans as well. They're just not used to it. Yeah. A question by Yokmoy: would being pale morph affect the red leaf monkey's ability to survive in the wild? I guess maybe if it stands out, maybe they will be an easy target, but I don't think so. Sometimes they're in a group also. And also, actually, you know what? I've noticed that if orangutans are red leaf monkey, just because they're red or maybe whitish or even brownish, when you look up in the canopy, right, when the sun rays are coming, they're all very well camouflaged. So it's not easy to just spot the white morph. But that's from a human perspective. From a wildlife perspective, the main predators, I would say, are clouded leopards and pythons, and I'm not sure how it affects. There's a guy called Dr. McLaren Luckin. He is the director of Sabah Parks. Maybe he knows better. Good question, though. Can I answer you? Yeah.
Oh yeah, red leaf monkey like orangutans, they camouflage well with with many of these reddish decaying leaves in the canopy, just like orangutans. But then the white one, in fact, they do camouflage quite well as well. Especially in a cloudy white sky, in a bright, when the sky is sunny, you can actually see that when you look up at the canopy, they do blend in well with the white sky. Yeah, yeah, especially with the white background, with the strong sunlight, they do really blend in well. So in a way, I think it does, at least my point of view, it does help them blend in quite well, so camouflage quite well.
Okay, and Laura's question is, do you see groups of mixed color moths? Usually we see the white moth in the red leaf monkey, the red group, right? Yeah, in the normal group. They're just maybe one or two individuals. We don't usually see like the white, we don't just see like the white groups only. They're part of the existing group. Okay, next.
Oh, in fact, yeah, this is you could say it's a genetic disorder. There's a problem with the pigment of the hair, where it loses the red pigment and it appears white inside. So usually in one big group, there'll be all of them are red and one or two are white. So it's a recessive gene for the hair pigment, for this white pigment in the hair.
Yeah, the golden question is though, why more in Tawau or this part of Borneo than other places?
Yeah, I think some people, the theory is that because more inbreeding in Tawau, that's why they pass on this white gene more often, more of these white ones in Tawau.
Yeah, interesting discussion. Next. Okay, gibbons. Yes, this is every day. Every morning you hear them. I think Dean would do better, or Nat or Chun would do better, but Chun actually, no, I think I do better than Chun. I'm just kidding, Chun. The gibbons, yeah, they're behind our room. You know, there are at least two resident groups just outside our lodge. You know, we kind of know they're different groups. And they're amazing. Look at this, the North Borneo gibbon. This one is actually, I took this picture on Lucia Mountain, where there's a lodge, which I'll show you a picture later. And I was almost eye level. Look at this gibbon. They were eating the fruit of the laran tree, Laran, very fast growing tree. Amazing gibbons. You know, they're usually in a group of 3 or 4, mother, daddy, and the child. And usually it's the female which calls. Yeah. And yeah, it's amazing. So, and we usually follow the gibbons because we try to do some, whenever we're doing ficus survey, because they love eating ficus fruit. So we love following gibbons. And yeah, they're amazing. You know, I've been even based in for 4 or 5 years now in the park. Every day, if there's a gibbon, I'll get out of my bed. I'll wake up. First of all, they wake me up at 4:45 a.m. That's not really annoying, which is quite fun. But every day, I am motivated to see them. I love the gibbons. Next. Our tarsier, yes, we have Western tarsiers. I don't see them quite often, and but we have seen them several times, you know. And yeah, usually they have a very bright eye shine whenever we have found them. So yeah, lovely. And yeah, I love tarsiers. Yeah, and love seeing you jumping around. This is the slow loris. Yeah, and we have 2 species of slow loris. We have a Cayenne slow loris as well, which is a bit more montane, and apparently the only records were in North or Central Kalimantan, I think, and so we found some new records there. I don't have a very good picture of it. A friend of mine has, but yeah, this is the Philippine slow loris, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, we have so night walks are fun to look for primates as well. Next. Civets. Now I'm going to go to civets. We actually have all the civet species found in Borneo in Tawau. As you can see here, Borneo striped palm civet, island palm civet, otter civet, Jose's civet, montane species. We'll show you a photo of it later. Actually, Chien Lee got an amazing camera trap photo at Mulu just last year. You can check his page. And then we have a picture, and banded linsang. Banded linsang is not a civet actually. And if I'm not mistaken, some time back, they were considered civets, and then there were some studies done to differentiate them, but they're not civets. They're in a different group, but we have a picture of it later as well. So I am lucky enough to see all the civets except the otter civet, unfortunately. So I'm going to go get that otter civet this year. This one is the banded civet. I love banded civets. I think they're just so cool. They actually remind me of Tasmanian tigers. And I usually find them more often in the mountain. In the mountain, I find the banded civet, the Malay civet more common. And in the lowland, I find the other civets more common. So I love banded civets. Yeah, just amazing, you know. And I see them near ponds sometime, maybe looking for frogs, you know. They're really cool. Next. Borneo striped palm civet. So it's amazing. We saw a Borneo striped palm civet on the top, and we saw a banded civet on the ground. So, you know, they can live in the same habitat, just eating different stuff, maybe, and just, you know, so they don't compete with each other directly, maybe. So look at the tail of this particular individual. It's really long. So yeah, Chris Daniels, a friend of ours, took this photo. Next. Binturong. Who doesn't like a binturong? Yeah, this is taken by Michael Gordon. This one eating a ficus. I think this is ficus variegata, if I'm not mistaken, or ficus racemosa. But yeah, binturongs or bear cat, they love figs. So find a fruiting fig, and maybe you might find a sleeping or eating a bear cat. Miyabi Nakabashi, I think that's her full name. She has written several articles on binturong in Sabah. So if you want to learn more, you could do that. Yeah. And so yeah, binturong are really, really cool. We have only usually found them on fruiting trees. Rarely do we find them on the ground, but we have camera trapped them on the ground at 8 a.m. I think a few times. So they're very cool animals. Next. The next one is Malay civet. There's always a resident Malay civet everywhere you go in Borneo, in Danum, I think in Tamburong as well, in Taraja, and everywhere. There's always a Malay civet, Musang, looking for scraps and so on. So this is the Malay civet. The next picture is the banded linsang. Looks quite similar, but actually it's quite stunning. So this one is taken by Rael. Yeah, I've seen them only once. I saw it in Tambunan, a sub-montane forest in Sabah. And we have camera trapped it in Tawau as well. But what a beautiful animal, I love it. Next. Now we're going to go to wild cats. Maybe you guys want to guess which cat species that is. It's quite a big one. So yeah, maybe you can have a guess. So now we're going to go on the wild cats. We have all the species of cats found in Tawau. This one is taken by Chun. Actually, most of the photos are taken by Chun and myself, except the ones which we have put a credit of other people. So this is a leopard cat. We find them quite often just before the park, in the plantation, bordering with the park, with the forest, and they're eating the rats and so on. We've seen them in the trails as well. Rarely do we camera trap them in the jungle. Usually it's at the edge, forest edge. Okay, next. This is the bay cat, ladies and gentlemen. Perhaps the most elusive cat in the world. The rarest. I've never seen it. I've never even camera trapped it. It is, yeah, it's amazing. And apparently Tawau had several records, and those several records made it like perhaps Tawau is the best place to see them. So some people, there are some mammal watchers who are trying to photograph every cat species in the world. They come to Tawau just to find the bay cat. I usually tell the tour leaders and agencies, why did you even make a trip like this? It's almost impossible to see a bay cat. I've been going in the forest for 8-9 years, and other people here in the group here, some of you have been going for 20 years. Seeing a bay cat is almost it's almost like a mythical creature, So yeah, I would love to see one. So yeah, we have them in Tawau as well. Next. Then we have the clouded leopard. Yes, so we have camera trapped them several times on our cameras, and we've seen them as well during night drives and also in the forest. So yeah, this is the big male. I think this one is called Gilmore. Next. This is our best sighting of a clouded leopard so far. It was behind our lodge. So we didn't have to walk too far. Chun and I we're just walking along, and suddenly I spotted it, and I was like, I lost my brains that time. I was just like, Chun, look at that, just look at that. And then we were just quiet, putting a light out, taking pictures of it. And she was with us for 30 minutes. She really didn't care much. She just stood there. She sat down. She licked herself. She laid down. We had the best, I think, experience ever. She didn't run away. We were only like 6-7 meters away. My lens is not on full. My lens is like, I have a 400-meter lens, and I was actually on 100. It was so close, I think. And she didn't care. And after 30 minutes, me and Chun decided, we whispered to each other and said, I think they had enough for tonight. Why don't we just go back? And I think if we stayed there for a bit longer, we would have gotten it. This is her just standing a bit curious. Beautiful. I love clouded leopards. They're quite active between 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. That's what we have recorded on our camera traps, and also during our walks, and our drives, and through other people's research as well, like Andrew Hearn and so on. So clouded leopard, what a magnificent animal. Yeah. you can say the king of the Bornean jungle. We don't have tigers or lions, but we have clouded leopards. Next. Now we're going to go a bit on squirrels, a bit of rats, shrews, a little bit. So yeah, we have nice flying squirrel species in the park. This is the red giant flying squirrel, if I'm mistaken. In the evening, we saw it at 6 p.m. I think at Mount Lucia. Just flew in the horizon. It's a beautiful sight. I mean, just look at it. I love this photo. Yeah. Next. So on the top is the Thompson's flying squirrel, and on the bottom is the Gentic's flying squirrel. That was my lifer last year. I've never seen that squirrel species on the lower one, and I've only seen one. So these are all. So this is the advantage of doing night walks and night drives. All these amazing animals come out, and you have a chance to see them. Some you can see in the day, some at night. So yeah, squirrel. It's a squirrel haven here on Borneo, actually, not just Tawau. Just because we have all these pictures and amazing stuff doesn't mean other places are not as diverse. Okay, it's just that we're lucky enough to be based in a park. Some people, most other people, just visit a park once a month, once in a few months, go there for a few nights. We are lucky enough to be based there, so sometimes we have had very memorable moments. Not sometimes, many times. On the top left is the Temenix flying squirrel. Chun took this. I was really upset at him because he went in the forest, and just after a few hundred meters, he spotted this. I think I was still having my hot chocolate in the lodge, or roti talor. Because we were in the park sometimes alone. We decide whenever we want. Sometimes if I have the mood to go at 2 a.m., I go at 2 a.m. If I have the mood to go at 10, I go at 10. Sometimes we go together. We have a walkie-talkie as well, but I think our walkie-talkie that night was not working or something. I don't know what was wrong, but Chun found this beautiful flying squirrel. And on the lower left or lower right is the biscuit flying squirrel. I found that on Lucia, and it was a beautiful sight. Yeah, so we have lots of different species of flying squirrels, and I think we've seen many of them already. A few we have, like smoky flying squirrel. Yeah. Next. Of course, this is the most magnificent squirrel in the world, perhaps. Tufted ground squirrel. I talked about it a bit yesterday. I've only seen it once in Toraja, Brunei, but it's many times on camera traps in Tawau. I know other people have seen it, but I am still missing it again, to seeing it for the second time after all these 6-7 years. I hope to photograph it as well. There's a guy called James Armstrong. That's his name. I think he photographed a very good photo he has a very good photo in Lawas. So yeah, tufted ground squirrels, amazing squirrel. Their fluffy tail, and yeah. This is a very interesting find. This is the whitehead's pygmy squirrel. So this squirrel was supposed, if you look at the Quinton's book, the geographical area is supposed to be in the Kinabalu mountain range, in that mountain range on the west coast. But we found it in Tawau, in the mountain there, and first record from there. And yeah, it's a beautiful squirrel. Of course, Kinabalu Park is the best place to find them still. Mala has amazing pictures. And but yeah, I have a picture from Tawau, and this is the one. Even the small mammal researchers have said that this could be perhaps a subspecies if we did more genetic research and so on, because it's so isolated. Or maybe actually it's not so isolated. Maybe it's just that there are not many people going out in the forest all the time. Maybe there's another record to be found, another mountain in Sarawak, maybe, or so on. So maybe sometimes, I think we just need to go out more and more people might see more stuff. And maybe animals are not that rare as we think. Maybe they're just there. We just need to be spending more time in the jungle. But anyways, a great find we had. Pygmy whitehead squirrel. We have a Sundar tree mouse on the top left, and a Chun photographed this red spiny rat. It was right in front of me. I think I spotted it that time, and I said, just take a picture. I tried to take my camera out. By the time I took my camera out and got the settings ready, it went in. Chun got an amazing photo right over there. And it's good to have teamwork there, especially his camera being soft, a bit smaller, but quicker. And but he still gets amazing photos. So yeah, it would be amazing and great to have someone doing more full-time small mammal research. We have had few small mammal researchers here before, but it would be good to have more long-term studies, and you're bound to find some new stuff. So yeah, while I was doing this mammal book, which I was writing, I have fallen in love with even small mammals. In the past, I would be looking at the bigger animals. You know, like most people would be looking at the bigger civets or cats, but now I appreciate the bats even more. You know, like we were in a cave in Spitang and we saw the bats. We were so excited to take, so stoked to take pictures of bats. So Borneo mammals are really unique. Yeah, and it's really fun to find them. Each species is interesting. Next. Porcupines, we have all the three species of porcupines. We have the Bornean porcupine, which is the lowest one, which is the rarest one perhaps. And then we have the long-tailed porcupine on top right, which is the most common, and the Malayan porcupine on the top left. Yes, but the Bornean porcupine is quite rare. We have not seen them so much. So yeah, all three species of porcupines found in Tawau. Next. Moon rat. So moon rat is actually not really, I think, a rat. You know, it's a different order, different group, but people mistaken them. But I just wanted to share a picture. So we see them quite often in the forest as well. This one was along the stream, maybe just hunting or just taking a bath. But yeah, yeah, I love moon rats. They're really cool. Next. Mongooses, we have both species of mongoose, the collared and the short tail. This is taken by Stanley Shaw, bird watcher. He likes to be in the forest all alone. Sometimes if you ask him, hey, can we join you, Stanley? He would say, no, he likes to be alone. And sometimes actually when you're alone, you sometimes find more cool things. So this photo of him, he had a wonderful time with his mongoose, and it's amazing, you know. So yeah, look at this. I love mongooses, but they're quite shy. Next. Yellow-throated marten, amazing animal. You know, they hunt in packs. I'm sure if you Google yellow-throated marten hunting, you have to maybe see some videos in Taiwan and other places hunting deers and so on. They are perhaps the only pack hunters on Borneo. Yeah, and I think Chun has seen a few, 2 or 3 of them running up the canopy, and I've seen it myself as well, but never had a great shot like this. This is by one of our volunteers, Daniel from Germany. And yeah, it's amazing. Yellow-throated martins are just amazing. Uh, yeah.
Yeah, I think these are one of the hardest animals to photograph. Every time we spotted them at first, they always running around climbing trees. They never stop long enough for a proper photograph.
Again, Daniel took this photo when he was alone. And he, you know, like I go on my other trail, Chun goes on his trail. Daniel just was lucky enough to find it. So you see, maybe that's the recipe, guys. Just go out alone all the time as much as possible. Yeah. But Chun is right. It's quite difficult to photograph, but I think the next one is more difficult to photograph, Chun. If you go on the next one, it's the Malay weasel, ladies and gentlemen. Very quick, fast, and always looking for food, rats, and everything. I don't know how many of you might have seen it here. We have never camera trapped it, actually, shockingly. I don't know why. They've been quite ground dwelling. Never camera trapped it. A lot of people have said on Borneo Mammal Club that they're quite common, not common, or more regularly seen in plantations. Lots of rats, maybe lots of weasels. It will be good to know how many of you have seen it here later on. It will be nice. So yeah, Malay weasel, amazing animal. Again, Daniel was lucky to see it. Next. Kaludu or the skunk. Yeah, this is really smelly. If you find it in the forest or dead, especially if it's dead on the road, oh, it really stinks. Of course, all dead animals smell, but this one is really smelly. Very common again in the region, especially on the plantation roads at night. You would see them quite often. Oh yeah, this one I can assure you is really smelly. The moon rat has a reputation to be smelly, which is quite bad, but not always. But this one is bad. Sometimes even when you drive past a live skunk on the road, it's just gone in the trail. The smell comes in the car and it's quite smelly. Yeah, even with an aircon car, sometimes you know we have had that. They're just smelly, but they're lovely. I love them so. Chenli has a fantastic macro shot. You can, I think, again, photo taken by Chris. Beautiful animal. Kulugu. Yeah, we have several Kulugus and different morphs as well. With the red color morph and with the whitish one and this one. I love the Kulugus. We actually know the trees they like to be on. And sometimes now we can even identify a tree if the bark has been licked off, we know Kulugu was there. So that's how you find in the forest. Oh, if this tree is licked off, maybe go there at night. You might see it there. These are difficult things to maybe explain, but once you get used to it, you will know how to find them. Yeah, we find many of our animals actually more on the logged forest, because we're covering so much distance when we're driving in and out. So we see them more. In the rainforest, we're walking barely 200-300 meters every night, and we can take 2-3 hours doing a 300-meter trail flat, because we're just slowly looking for all kinds of wildlife, So it's really cool looking for animals. And I would just like to add on, like Dean said, the best time to see wildlife is early mornings, late evenings, or during night drives. Either early night drives or the later night drives for the cats. But to tell you the guys the truth, if you just do a random walk, you might see something cool. Like the Malay weasel, it was I think around 12 o'clock in the midday. Yellow-throated martin was after lunch at 2. So mammals could be around any time, or actually any animal out there, like birds as well. Next. Pangolin, yes, we have the Sunda pangolin in the park as well. We recorded them at tree holes. And this picture is taken from a rescue release. I think some of you may know that we have been leading pangolin rescues on Borneo for 8-9 years now. Started in Brunei, lots of rescues there, but in Sabah as well. We're leading them. Our framework is working. Basically, the framework is go to more schools, share your WhatsApp number, more rescues you get. And that's how we have been getting all these animals. So yeah, the pangolin is amazing. It is an excellent swimmer. We have seen them swim in streams. We have videos of them swimming out in the sea. We have records of them on islands like Sipadan, Pulau Gaya, and Pulau Tiga. So yeah, they can swim, and yeah, they're amazing animals. Next. Otters. We have 3 species of otters actually in Tawau. We have the small clawed, which is on the lower image. The top one is the smooth coated, and we have the hairy nose otter, which is perhaps the rarest otter maybe in the world. Don't have a good photo of, well, actually in the mammal book, we have a good photo of it, but that particular photo was not taken from Tawau, so I didn't want to put it here. But yes, hairy nose otter is also found in the region. But yeah, look at this, the small clawed and the smooth coated. They're in the park. In the park, I've seen mostly the small clawed, and just outside the park, I've seen more smooth coated. Otters are amazing. They're hunting mudskippers, crabs, fish, and yeah, I love otters. Next. Dolphins, and I think some of you attended Chun's talk. These are found in the bay around in the estuaries. This is the Irrawaddy dolphin. This is my favorite photo of the dolphin because I like the background, and the pod is coming out and they're smiling. And yeah, we love enjoying to see them eat when they're hunting in their pack. It's really it's a joyous occasion. So yeah, we have recorded maybe up to 49 Irrawaddy dolphins. And this is the humpback dolphin. It's amazing. This photo is taken by Adi Mala. And very rarely you see the dolphins, like Chun said, in Borneo, they don't really jump out much, especially the ones found in the estuaries. They just break the surface. So I have pictures of Irrawaddy dolphins, the face, but I don't have a picture of the humpback dolphin. Chun, I think, has, but I love this photo by Adi Mala. And again, they're amazing, amazing animals. And Irrawaddy dolphins usually break the surface and go down. The humpback dolphin usually stays on the surface for 10 seconds maybe. So it's easy to photograph. This is a great photo by Stanley. And this is a humpback dolphin adopting an Irrawaddy dolphin young. And this is not a rare case, apparently. The fisherman told us he has seen this behavior before, maybe because of the close bond and relationship they have. So in a nutshell, so far, you see the reason why we like Tawau is within 1 hour, you can reach the elephant project site, the national park, or the dolphin site. All of them are in the same area. And it's really interesting and really fun. Next. Bats. We have not done a lot of bat research, so it will be interesting to see what else is there. We invited a bat team once to do a bat survey, a rapid survey for 6 days. Few days in the mountain, few days in the lowland. It was led by Izam, Dr. Juliana Azniza. They did a mist netting and harp traps. And next, I think this is how, when we were doing the expedition, this is how the bat survey happened. Izam on the top right, photographing a bat. The team at night analyzing their data, creating the traps on the top left. So it was nice to see how they were all doing the bat work. I would love to do more bat work. It's just I don't have time, and we don't have time to do it ourselves. But we would love to have more people coming over to do a bat survey. And let's say people like Dr. Elmar, if you guys came over before coming over, maybe we could even write a letter to the government to let people do a survey, click a quick survey, And yeah, it's amazing. I love bats as well, especially seeing Charles Francis talk and seeing the diversity and the wonders of Borneo bats. It's wow. I think this is something I would like to go into further in depth one day in a few years. Next, this is the checklist of bats. This is not the complete checklist. I think there are at least 26 species of bats found in Tawau, at least by this group. Yeah, at least from the rapid assessment. But I don't think that's true. I think there could be more. There could be at least 60 or 70 species, maybe. So it would be great to have more people doing bat surveys in the park and in surrounding areas. Yeah, next. So, okay, I'll let Chun take over from here. You're still mute.
Okay, so partly we are based in this region for several years now. That's why we've got lots of this exciting find. But it's luck. Being lucky is one thing, and just walking around regularly is one thing. But we also need some experience and skill set. We have to know what is the best way to find the animals. So when in the forest, we try to look for some of the major animal signs. So for example, animal trails. So for example, animal trails and pig wallows. These are the places where we know there are lots of animals sent here and mammals are likely to come. So predators will be here, and many of the animals which enjoys wallows like pigs will be here. And maybe 100 years, maybe several decades ago, before the rhinoceros went extinct, they will be enjoying wallows as well.
I mean, the last record of a Sumatran rhino in Tawau was 1971, according to John Payne. So that's not that long ago, if you think about it. I mean, still quite long ago. Yeah. So yeah, we try to find these wallows.
So with trails, with wallows, these are the best place, partly the best place to put camera traps. So we can usually photograph pigs, and if we're lucky, we get to see animals associated with pigs. They are tagging along. For example, the Borneo ground cuckoo, which is a very rare bird. They are known to tag pigs, follow pigs. And with all these wallows made by pigs, after the rain, when the water builds up, they are perfect place for frogs as well, especially some of the rare frogs like this Borneo flying frog. So here's an illustration by Kenneth Chin. Here it shows the association between the frogs and these pigs. They're important. They are affecting each other. So with pigs, there are wallows, and with wallows, frogs have these specialized frogs have a place to breed. So these Borneo flying frogs, they do not lay eggs in rivers or even large ponds or lakes. They usually prefer this temporary rainwater buildup in wallows. And then we also try to look for figs, fruit, and other fruiting trees, which mammals love. All these, especially wild figs, they are very fleshy and large, which lots of mammals would enjoy. So figs are unique because they are figs which fruits from branches for arboreal animals like squirrels, orangutans, monkeys. But then there are also figs which have fruits on the ground at the roots, which targets deers and other ground mammals and ungulates. So here are some, yeah, when we find a good fig tree with lots of ripe fruits, we'll just stay there and watch the activity happening there. So other than we'll get good birds and good mammals coming in for the figs, both during the day and night. So in the daytime, we get lots of squirrels and primates, while at night there'll be civets there and some other rodents, night nocturnal rodents as well. And then our favorite technique, which is can be quite lazy, is just staying from the balcony of our lodge. In fact, this is one of the best way. Just sit at the balcony and just sit in the balcony, keep quiet, and animals may come close to the lodge. So for example, this civet will we'll just stay at the balcony, and civets, they can smell food quite well, like pigs. So if you keep quiet, all these omnivores may come close. And some of the photographs you have seen of the flying squirrel and the gibbon just now, all are photographed from this, just from the within the lodge.
And from this position, basically, at night and during the day. Yeah.
Yeah, so this lodge in the mountain, which we love going to. So as you can see, there are trees around us. Just have to find a good spot and watch out, and just look at and watch at the trees. And with enough patience, good mammals will appear.
I think I just want to add on. I know this is just a casual, informal photo, but the guy over there, he's feeling quite cold in the morning. But he actually brought a thermoscope, I think, a it's like a night thermo goggle, you can say. And that's how also we found mammals. We actually did a few walks in the jungle, did an experiment, and we didn't find any mammals. The moment we opened the thermal goggle, you guys wouldn't believe it. We found several kind of mammals. We've even found a kulugu. We switched off the goggle. We put on the flashlight. We still couldn't find the kulugu. The kulugu was looking somewhere else. We have been to streams. We sat at the streams for a few minutes. Nothing with the lights. The moment we switch on off the light, we just use the thermal goggle. Mammals would come, porcupine, rats, and we would just say 3 p.m. Lights would be on at 3 p.m. We would switch it on there, and there would be a porcupine. So these thermoscope and night goggles are very fun to play around, but you need, yeah, a few $1,000, 50, yeah.
And we do many of these more elusive animals. It's almost impossible to spot them by eye. They are very shy, and they sense human. They're very sensitive to human, like many of the wildcats. And so these animals, the only way, sometimes if we're lucky, we have a glimpse of them, but the only way to really photograph them properly is with camera traps. So we did several years of camera trapping as well in few places in Tawau, especially in the national park. So here are some of the most interesting mammals we found with some bonus birds at the bottom as well, like sun bears, clouded leopards. Actually, for clouded leopard, we have few video footage as well. We're lucky enough to get video footage from the camera traps. And in fact, some of the trails with camera traps, some of the clouded leopard, they love following the same trail. They have a favorite trail, and after several weeks, they'll be returning to the same trail. They do move long distances, but every few weeks, they'll end up in the same spot. Marble cat. Some of these mammals, they are really quite curious, very inquisitive. Some of them, they do notice the camera trap, and they're quite curious. Probably from the scent. So the scent we left on the camera trap, or maybe they're just curious that they are smells human-like on the camera trap, or it's just that they have good eyes, which they notice something irregularity in the forest.
I just want to add on the marble cat. Like Dean was saying yesterday, that he has mostly seen them. He's seen them mostly at night on the trees. My personal experience, at least, has been a bit different. I've only seen them mostly on the ground, even physically. When I've driven on roads, I've seen them in the day in Brunei and Tawau, crossing the trail or something, or the road. Even on camera traps, mostly on the ground and during the daytime. So it's interesting to see. And we've seen the clouded leopards and marble caps on the same trail as well. But maybe during different times of the day, maybe, so they don't compete with each other. But it's just interesting. I love marble cats. Quite common on our traps.
So like maybe those who have attended the talk about the mammals of Brunei yesterday, maybe Laura's technique is more of a randomized camera trap plotting. So it doesn't follow any trail, just but for our style of camera trapping, it's more targeted. So we actually look for areas which we think animal activity are high there, then we place camera traps there. For example, on animal trails, ridge lines, and Argus Pheasant Dancing Ground. These are places where we target for to get the most result of mammals. So pigs are one of the most, these bearded pigs, they're one of the most common mammals around. While the rarest, apart from the bay cat, unfortunately we have not managed to photograph bay cats yet in our camera trap, but Jose civet is probably the second rarest mammal in the park. So they're so rare, and even because because they're mountain species, you can only see them higher up in elevation in Tawau. And yeah, photographing them is hard. Once they sense you, they just move away so swiftly. So our main base is in Tawau Hills Park, the national park in Tawau. This is the map of Tawau Hills Park. So this is the size, almost 8,000 hectares. And only in fact, it's gazetted not long ago, only in the 1979. And we have hosted a wildlife expedition before to get experts, biologists, other researchers, photographers to join us in the national park, because some of them, like the bat research team, they're specialized in the field of mammals, so they can get their expert in getting their data of their field of expertise. So this is the expedition we hosted with experts from the bats team and not only mammals, there are other team as well, study different groups of animals like birds, insects. So unfortunately, we have to talk about problems and challenges as well. There are lots of problems and challenges, but these are the most worrying ones. So poaching and hunting. So even in national parks, it's fully protected. Nobody is allowed to hunt and poach, but we still, sometimes further in the jungle, we'll still see hunting signs. For example, this is a temporary hunting bench they made. So with this, we know that from this we can see how regular or how recent the huntings are from these signs. So from camera traps as well, we have gotten photograph of people carrying guns, machete into a forest. Sometimes in the trails we find bullet cases. So like for this one is not all the photographs are from the national park, because we do camera trapping around Tawau. For example, this one is in an oil palm plantation. So in the oil palm plantation and forest border. So we realize that many of these hunters, they're entering forest borders from oil palm plantations. And that's apart from this threat to animals, they are also a threat to our camera traps. Once we have our camera traps regularly stolen, since we are placing it in strategic spots where hunters are more likely to appear as well, since they know the animals are good there. So many of our camera traps has been stolen or damaged by hunters. Some of them, after stealing, they even leave behind a sign. And if you look closely, this is a sun bear, and the leg there in the middle, you can see the leg have been half cut off. So this do happen often in many other people's camera trap record as well around Malaysia and maybe other parts of Asia as well, where some animals, in order to escape the snares that they caught in, they have to pull hard and bite the legs off to free themselves from snares. Others they will starve to death or get killed by the hunters. So from camera trapping, it's important that we get this data, which can help some of the authority and the enforcers, where to show them that there's signs that snaring, hunting, poaching is it's happening. So this is may not be a mammal, but even turtles. This is a so uh, this is a could be
Manoria imis, right?
yeah.
Asian
The
giant
scientific
snails.
name is Menora emis. It comes in many names, including like forest hill turtle. So it's a tortoise, land tortoise, but even from tortoise, you can see poaching signs. So this tortoise or turtle, it's commonly hunted as well for the meat, but most could possibly not for sale, but possibly just to sustain the hunters when they are living in the forest. So you can see they do make holes in the turtle shell to try to tie them, to tie them somewhere, keep it alive. But apparently this turtle might have successfully escaped with just a hole. So lots of vandalism left behind by hunters and poachers. Some of them write down even the dates they are there. And you can see, for example, you can see animal signs at the bottom and human signs. So uh, this this is why it's important to do more regular surveys in forests so we can identify areas with more poaching and hunting, so we can go there often, go there more often and act as a patrol, which will discourage hunters from going there if they know there's a constant, regular patrolling of people or visitors, and more hunting signs. So this tree, we place a camera trap here. And after a few weeks, we came, the camera trap is gone. And instead of the place where the camera trap is gone, they leave behind a face of an angry face. Shows that they are really unhappy with possibly with them being photographed by the camera trap. And sometimes they left behind trash also. So this from here, sometimes we can tell also where they're based in, because this yeah from, for example, like this one is could be a product from Indonesia, so we may know where they're coming from and or which village where they're selling this product. All right. So more of the national park where we are based in. So in fact, one reason why the east coast of Sabah, like Danube Valley, Tawau Hills Park, are very rich in mammals and other fauna and flora as well, is because these areas are volcanic areas. They are extinct volcanoes and from hundreds of thousand years ago. So all these nutrients from volcano activity in the past have made the soil here very fertile. And that's why the forests here have huge trees, good flora and fauna diversity. And one of the best places in Tau Hills Park is the mountains, where we have there's a nice little lodge here in the mountain where we stay for our mountain trips. So it's a unique where you can discover lowland species in the park headquarters, and you can also hike to the mountains to discover mountain endemics. There are also some beautiful attractions around Tau Hills Park, like hot springs, beautiful waterfalls. And Tau Hills Park is also the place where they have formerly the tallest tropical tree in the world. Now, of course, it's superseded by Danube Valley. But previously, maybe as recent as six years ago, Tower Hills Park still holds the record for the tallest tropical tree in the world.
Uh, the tallest tree now in Danam is 100 meters and 8 inches, I think, or centimeters. And in Tawau, it's 99.6. So the difference is actually not that big. But yeah, it's still amazing. Tall trees in East Coast Borneo.
Yeah, just from its photos, most of these tallest trees are mostly the hardwood, and specifically the yellow shoria or yellow maranti trees. So you can see how they can be tall because they have a very stable base. All right. So we have some supporters which have helped us in our surveys and expedition. Like we have sponsors from Adventure Alternative Borneo, and our main collaborators is the Sabah Parks, where we are based in the national park. All right.
Okay,
Next,
we're just about to finish, guys. Just hold on. So so yes, like Chun said, we also have the project on elephants, which is the plan for Borneo elephants. Actually, it's north of the park in the plantation, connecting the forest over there with Sagama. And this is the map of Tawau Hills on the right, but there's a few forest reserves nearby, but they're all disconnected a little bit. So we're trying to reconnect them, and we're starting a new project called Plan for Hornbills. Yeah, and we're going to be replanting mostly with figs, hornbill favorite food, and also mammal favorite food. So whenever we see mammals or birds eating the figs, collect them. We're trying to propagate them, and then we're going to replant them, hopefully starting next month, depending on the lockdowns here in Malaysia. So yeah, that's our goal, to have more healthy ecosystem. So genetic flow as well. Look at the parks around the Hills Park, a few smaller reserves. Hopefully we can reconnect them in a decade or two. This is a long-term project, and yeah, this is our future project. Next. We're also writing books. So we didn't just do research and surveys, we're also going to publish them. We're going to do some scientific articles. Our team members, Yvonne, for example, she's leading that, but we're also making public friendly books. So the book on the left, Pocket Guide to Mammals of Borneo, that's out. I wrote that one, but with the help of many other people like Chun. And the book on Tawau Hills, a field guide to Tawau Hills, is out maybe in a few months as well. It's actually almost completed. And that's going to be a very interesting book. Yeah, so hopefully all this content will be shared with the public. Again, if you're into mammals, by the way, these are the 3 books I always have at home. And I think everybody, if you're into mammals, all of them are useful. One is this one, Field Guide to Mammals of Borneo by John Payne and Charles Francis. It was written in 1984, but still quite relevant now. There's some information there which is still relevant on different species, mostly illustrations, but the content is unique, so this is a book which I really recommend. Mammals of Borneo by Quentin Phillips is this is the dream book for me. I love this book. It's everywhere I go, I bring this book. It's so much information inside. This book will be useful for decades to come. This is a great book. So I think you should always have this book. Might be a bit heavy to carry in the field all the time, but you should have it at home. This is the latest book we have created as well. And this is mostly photographs though. The others are illustrations. So this is mostly photographs, easy to carry and light. So I always carry these 3 books with me though, wherever we are, and always have them at the lodge. So yeah, we'll be sharing more data soon. This next book is coming out soon. The Mammals Borneo book, which we just wrote, is mostly photographs, but the Tawau book, which is coming out, is not just photographic. It's not just a photographic guide, but lots of interesting text inside. Next. Yeah, so thank you so much, everybody, for your participation. Thank you for listening as well. And I hope you all enjoyed our interesting content, hopefully. So now we'll open the floor for question and answers. If anybody has any questions. Yokmoy has a question: has Tawau Hills been ever logged? The core area, no. And even most of the park has not been logged. The sides has been logged a little bit here and there, but it's not been really logged, the park. So yeah, if any of 4 of you who are, if you guys have any questions or comments, that would be great.
Okay. So Yukmo, you have a question about elephants, right, in plantations? So you're wondering whether they are just some migratory or they are living there. So in fact, they are both. There are elephants which are migratory, just passing by plantation, but there are also lots of elephants that are resident. They live inside the plantation. Just occasionally, because some plantations are big, so even though they make a full round around the plantation, is enough to cover the whole year.
Yes. Hopefully, Yokmoy, when you're coming over, we'll visit all the project sites and you can have some fun. Vincent, good question. Again, I think you asked a similar question yesterday. For clouded leopard, I'll answer very straightforward. Any time of the year is good. Come over, because you just have to do the night drives, the night walks, and but it has to be planned. Yeah, like I said, it has to be in multiple sites, maybe Tabin, Danum, Dramakot, Tawau. I would recommend that. Best place for me, clouded leopards, Dramakot, and Danum, and Tawau as well. But again, you got to do a bit of mixture, night walks, and so on. And I think the best way for you to see a clouded leopard or any animal is stop thinking about the animal when you're here. Think of something else. Okay, the more you think about it, the less likely you're gonna see. Me and Chun did. I've been dreaming of a clouded leopard all my life. Whenever I think of it, I never see it. That night in Tawau, we saw it when we were least expecting it. For herbs, I would say come anytime as well. All year long we see stuff. The snakes, the frogs, we have the ponds over here. Of course, during the rainy time is better for the herbs. But nowadays, due to the climate and everything, I can't really predict when the rainy season is here and there. But I would say, generally speaking, all year long is good, because even if it's dry, there might be still lots of snakes looking for food here and there. So I would say all year long is good. Vince?
Yeah, clouded leopard will really have to depend on luck and regular safari.
Because it's the amount of the distance you cover.
Yeah.
Night walks, we're not covering distance. We're walking less than a kilometer a night, but lots of hours spent, yes. Herbs, yes. Vince, come over, man. Let's have some fun. We're gonna have some fun looking for all these cool stuff.
Yeah, I think for snakes and frogs, Tawau is one of the best in Borneo.
Yeah, I think in our checklist, we have 52 species of snakes now in Tawau. And I think the best places to see snakes on Borneo is Kinabalu Park. But Kinabalu Park, I also mean including Poreng and Sayap, Kuba National Park. That's just because so many people have been there and know the area, and Tawau Hills.
And how many frog species we have in Tawau?
84.
84 species of frogs. Yeah, just frogs. And then, so snakes more than 50. And yeah, not included the lizards and other amphibians like Sicilians as well.
But yeah, that's our experience, Vince. Yeah, of course it sounds good, Vince. You're coming over soon. Yeah. So any other questions and comments or points of discussion? Okay, while people maybe are pondering about questions or typing,